welcome, welcome, welcome. I put these trainings in the guide in my Practical Magic group because it's so important for me that you actually have something that you can always refer back to, or if I've got new people talking to me, then I can refer them to the group as well. So I'm so grateful to be able to spend time with you like this so that you can understand your wisdom and your power and the fact that your business has an incredible energy. So we often talk about the consciousness of your business, the spirit that comes through your business. The dragons have taught me very much about how we come into our own power, how we align with our soul, and then through source and everything else. So this is the message that the dragons come through with. But so when they came through with the message for me, it was about how to break the spell. Got somebody new coming in. Basically, the first point was how to break the spell, how to claim your power. This is what they're very, very strong about, how you claim your power, how you create your own reality, and then how you embody that, how you start living from that. So like when you reach the end of the rainbow, the end of the line on your adventure, this great adventure that you are coming here on earth, the sooner we get here, the better. When you understand that you are from this world, but you're not of this world. You are a super conscious being. You are a soul having a human experience. So this is what they always want to be teaching about, and they've put a course together for me. They've helped me, and we now have the dragon cards that I read out every single week. So every single week, if you want an activation, if you want to know more about what is it that I could be doing better this week, pull a dragon card that I do on Monday. You just select one or four. So I'm welcoming you to this particular call today, this particular training, because it was very, very clear that I had to be talking again about the third step, create your new reality. So there's a lot of information out there about how we create our new reality. The dragons themselves have put a lot of information out there about creating your new reality. But what often gets skipped over is that we never really embody it. We never really feel it. So hi, Jasmina. Thank you very much for coming along. So this is a sacred space. Every single week we come into a sacred space. When I read the dragon cards out on a Monday, it's a sacred space. You are having an activation just by listening and just by tuning into yourself, just by understanding, okay, what's going on here? What energy I'm in? So tonight, the information that we're sharing is really about how do you create your own reality. You will hear a lot of people talking about raising their vibrations, being happier, being more in love, being more kind, but raising your vibrations. Now, that's all well and good, but what I'm being told and what I'm hearing is you don't manifest something from the mood that you're in, from feeling happier, from feeling more joyful. You manifest something because you are feeling it. That's what you broadcast out. You're feeling it. And then the energy from source can match it. Okay, so if you're not feeling like your business is going well, you're not feeling that your health is going well, you don't feel that you've got enough clients, you don't feel that maybe I can't do this for everybody, you maybe feel God, I'm so panicking, I've got all these bills to pay, something's not working, it's not working for me. If you're feeling that, the only thing that can come back to you is more of that. So you will get that mirrored to you from the outside world. Oh, we've got Teresa twice. You will have things mirrored to you from the outside world. Now, when we're a human, we're very logical. We've been trained in school to think very, very logically, very in a square box, very linear like. But the women that I speak to, probably you, more than likely you, because of the kind of business that you do, we don't think in a linear way. We think in probably a circular way. We think from our intuition, we think from telepathy, we think from mediumship, we think from channeling, we think from out of the box ideas. And that's why we incarnated on this land at this particular time. Now, you may be turning around and go, well, what that's got to do with my business, Fiona? How do I get more clients? How do I get more money? Because I'm trying to teach you what you feel and what you understand. So sometimes we have to think outside the box. Even if your family, your partner, your children, your neighbors, the people that you work with, the people who you speak to on a daily basis don't get it, we have to continue to think in that way, because this is the new human. This is how we are being asked to operate. We're being asked to operate outside the box. We already know that we think completely differently to generations before. So we still need evidence. And the dragons have been very clear about this. Humans are frightened to feel, number one. So no wonder none of us really kind of step into our millionaire identity. We like to give our power away. We like to ask for the opinion of other people rather than feeling, is this right for me? Is that right for me? Okay, this is all about how we create our own reality. And we don't always stand in our power. There's so much to do with this. We don't always stand in our own power. So that's why I wanted to make a part 2 next week about how we actually get into our power. How do we actually embody that and keep the story going? That's really good. I mean, one of the main things that I do with my ladies in Manifest with the Dragons or in the courses that I run, how does that feel? How are you feeling that? How is that going through your body? How strong do you feel? How confident do you feel? What are you saying to yourself? What stories are you telling? And I'm being told right now to tell you this little story. So I think I've told this story before on several different ways. I'll use my ex as an example, my ex, I should say, because I've had a few. I was having a really, really hard time getting over the fact that he always had empty pockets, that he couldn't support the children that we brought into this world. My children at the time were 6 and 7. He wasn't able to support us. And I was so angry. But in that anger, I was stopping myself from earning any money. So my income went down and down and down and down and down because I was so adamant that he saw that I wasn't able to manage unless he stepped up. But he wasn't able to step up. The only person who could do this for me was me. So I had to remember how powerful I was. I had to turn around to myself. Do you know what? I was the woman who got a message to sell her business, to go traveling around the world. And I traveled around the world at 40 with a rucksack on my back. And I've moved to France. I don't speak the language. I then got guidance to run the home detox box and the retreats. I've had all this stuff. Like, where's she gone? Why am I being this victim? Why am I allowing someone else to tell the story and to diminish me? So with that, I was saying, I am the only one who can change the situation. He can't change the situation for me. This is my lesson. I have to understand that this is my gift. This is my lesson, that I can do anything that I want to do. So I started changing the story about him, and this will be very relevant. You'll see how relevant this is to do with what story you're telling about your business. I had to start saying things like, he's a great guy. He's very generous. He's a really good dad. Even if I didn't believe it in my head, it was very difficult to bring myself out of that state. Because the facts that were in front of me were a diminishing bank account. I was on my own trying to sort things out with absolutely no help whatsoever. But my story had to change. But there was something else that was happening. I had really, really, really bad sciatica for 9 months. I could hardly move. My body was absolutely crippled. So you can understand that when you start saying toxic stories about even someone else, the only one it hurts is you. So this sciatica, I began to learn, was showing me the story that I was telling, the same as your story might be affecting your finances. So I started telling this new story about the father of my boys. He's a great guy. He's very generous. He's a great dad. He's having a really successful time. He's going out there. He's making all the money he needs to. And at that point, after about 3 days, I was going, do you know what? He can go out and earn as much money as he wants. I don't need any of it. I'm perfectly capable of being able to support the boys myself. And that was the moment that things started to change, because I told a different story to myself. With that, my sciatica started to release, and I'd been going to osteopaths, I'd been going to kinesiologists, I'd been laid up, I'd hardly been able to put my socks and shoes on, all sorts of stuff. And I was like, wow, I suddenly saw the toxicity of the stories that I was telling and how it was not only affecting me physically, but how it was affecting me in my environment as well. So, like to do with my finances, I got to such a state that I had to take, I don't know what you'd call them, but Red Cross service, food parcels, those kind of things, because the story had got so ingrained and I was so angry. And I knew that I was the only one who could change the story. So I had to start believing that I was perfectly capable. So I think about a week after that, I decided to make a big bold move and stop the food parcels, stop going to collect the food. And I just went, do you know what? I'm the only one who can do this. But I had to keep my story going, to keep my head above water. And then things started to change. I won a competition to do some coaching. I started to get clients and it just started to roll. So God, the universe, source started to respond to the story that I was telling because of the energy that I was in. So that's the crux of what we're talking about here when we're creating our new reality. You are the only one who's going to change your own reality by the story that you tell. However, sometimes, like I did in my little video today, we don't know what to say, or we're so pig-headed that we want to carry on being right and we carry on telling the same story. Okay? I can see you nodding and I can see you smiling because, yeah, we're human, we're pig-headed, and we have that masculine tendency, excuse me if I say this, but it is a masculine tendency that they absolutely always want to be right. That we've been brought up in the same school and we need to be right as well. So we need to prove ourselves. We need to prove to other people that we're good enough and all the rest of it. So that's the society that we're being brought up in. And it is necessary for us to feel that we've won as well. This is a very masculine trait, that we've won. Whereas if you're using your circular thinking, your intuitive thinking, your channeling thinking, you'd be able to ask at any particular time, is this the right way to go about this? And you'd probably get a message from your body that just goes, nope, that's probably not the best way to go about it. And if you would say, is there a better way to go about it? You might get a sway that kind of shows, yes, there is a better way to go about this, Fiona. So by invoking in and calling in your soul and the energy that's within your body, the consciousness within your body, you can move things forward in a different way. I was doing this with a client today who's so stuck on, I mean, she's moved mountains, I must say, but she's still so stuck in her human ability to control things, her human ability to want to be right, to win against her family member in whatever dispute that's going on. And sometimes you just have to ask, let's look at this as an option. Does that feel good? How does it feel in your body? Does it feel like to be a good option for you to go down that road? Okay, that's how it feels. Let's bring in option B, the way that I think about things. Is this the right way to go? And what shocked her was, actually, that feels worse than taking his option. So when you feel into it, you suddenly realize you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. If you come from a different country, I don't know if you know that expression, but you know that, you're not doing yourself any favors by continuing that story and continuing to go down there. You can also pull in energy from another side that's blank and just say, there is another option. And you can step into that energy and kind of go, so there's an option C. I don't have to go option A, their route. I don't have to go down my route, option B, which is being so stubborn. There is an option C, which might be a little bit of a merge of the two. So in this sacred space, we are understanding that we get to control our own destiny. We get to create something from scratch. We get to change the way that we feel about someone or something. And then when we start matching that vibration, the whole world starts responding to us from that vibration. The tricky thing is sometimes, like when it's to do with money, when it's to do with your business, Most of the ladies that I speak to, they're extremely good at what they do. However, they have beliefs that they're not. They have beliefs that they need to learn something else. They have beliefs that I'm not quite there yet. They have beliefs that I'm not as good as someone else. They have belief. Now, this is all from our education. This is all from experiences that we've had before. And when I ask ladies to kind of say, are you able to say you're really good at what you do? Are you the best at what you do? There starts to be a little bit of a misunderstanding and a miscommunication within the body. And they go, oh, that feels a little bit ugly, Fiona, to be so brash, to be so confident about myself. And again, can you see that we are in a society where we are not allowing ourselves to be as radiant and as confident? You might even call it arrogant or braggy about how good we are at what we do, because it doesn't feel right. There was a story, I'm being told to tell you the story. There's a very, very quick story. There was, some of you might know the story and even the names of the characters, but there was an all-women's yacht circling around the globe, and they do this race every year, all-women's yacht, and they were doing phenomenally well. And at one point, a man jumped on the boat to do something, and they all gave their power away. They didn't even know that they'd done it. And there's nothing wrong with it, but it just sometimes we have to just see where our beliefs are, and we just have to see the stories that we're telling as to, like, why did I do that? Okay, fine, I understand it. But when sometimes we have to stand in our own power as a woman, sometimes it can be really, really tricky. Now, telling a new story about yourself can be really, really tricky. I'm really good at what I do. I'm amazing at what I do. People can't wait to work with me. I'm the best at what I do. I'm God's favorite. There's just so much I'm able to do. And telling these kind of stories shifts your energy, shifts your vibration, and you step into a different identity. So I'm talking about a very generic way of looking about how you look at yourself and how you operate generally in the world. Now, bring this specifically to your business, and sometimes even more resistance comes up. Now, I'm an absolute genius, because what I can do is, when somebody's telling me a story, like my client did today, I can feel what it feels like in her body. So as she's telling the story, but she can't find the words to articulate it, I can show her where she's feeling that in her body until she becomes aware of it herself. So everything shuts down, her breathing slows down, she can hardly breathe. Then I know that we're being triggered, and there's a belief in there somewhere that we need to be able to evacuate. We need to do a little bit of work on it so that we can actually take that out. So your thoughts and your feelings create a momentum. Okay, we know that. When you're manifesting something, when you're creating something, what we think and what we feel will create the path for that to be matched. We'll understand, okay, if I want this in my life, if I want 10K months, 20K months, I want to be a millionaire, whatever it is, if I want to be the queen CEO of my business, but I'm here in my thinking, I'm thinking, oh, things are not working. So you're taking it from the life perspective, whereas you wanted to be here with a new identity, but you're taking it from a life perspective. Still not got enough money in my bank, still not, I can't see any more coming, don't know if I need to train some more, don't know if I need to go on social media more, don't know if, what are your thoughts? So one of the questions that I want to ask you tonight, and for you to just have just a few minutes and then put them in the chat. What do you think about yourself deep down? What are some of the stories that you say to yourself? So just think maybe 3 or 4 and just see some of the first things that come through to you. You might think, oh, I don't know, maybe I need some more training in something. Maybe I need to be more visible. Maybe I need to be more articulate. What are the things that are coming up for you? What do you think about yourself? Somebody might say, I don't like the way I look on camera. Don't feel confident enough. I don't quite know how to articulate what it is that I do. What is it that you think about yourself? Now, you might think I've worked on that. I've already dealt with that. So I don't know that that's relevant anymore. But if the thought's coming up, maybe it's just to go, yeah, true. I don't believe that anymore. Right. So we've got a couple of things in chat there. I don't know enough to run my own business. Samantha, then I'm going to ask you, is that to do with your passion, your purpose, or do you mean the technical side of running your business, like the technology? What do you mean I haven't, Teresa? What do you mean I haven't? You haven't what? Haven't had your dinner? Okay, articulate. Okay, you can't articulate. You want more training. You want to be more visible. Learn more about finances before I can manage them properly. Okay, so there's a story that we can start weaving in there. I need someone to run my social media content. Okay, so let's just take a couple of things that you've written there. Like the story I was telling about my ex-partner, I didn't think he was a particularly good man at the time. I didn't think his pockets were full of money. I didn't think he was a particularly good dad. I had to change my story before I could see the evidence. So the technical and like the business side, setting it up. Yeah, okay, perfect. I want you to ask yourself with whatever you've written down there, what if I did know? Jasmina, what if you did know how to run your social media content? What if you decided, do you know what? I know better than anyone else where I feel confident putting my social media out there. And you can actually ask your body. You can actually say, is this post suitable for Facebook? No. Is it suited better for LinkedIn? All right, fine. Use the soul, use the spiritual ability that you've got to start getting your yes and your no. Beginning, that's how you begin to start communicating with the spirit of your business. So that's another subject. If you can go back in my trainings and you can listen to what I say about the spirit of your business. Teresa, so you feel that you can't articulate and that you want more training? Oops, somebody's put another message in there. I need to go back up. Is that right? That you want to be more visible. So what about if you could just turn that around and start telling a story to say, so you're creating your own reality. I can articulate things really, really well. Actually, the way I articulate things is perfectly good. It's brilliant. Is that what you meant when you said that? All right, learn more about finance before I can manage them properly. What about if you turn around to yourself and just said, I'm really, really good at taking care of my finances? I wonder what would happen if you decided that you were already good at looking after your finances. If you were looking, opening up your bank account, looking at your finances and going, that's awesome. So the different energy that we hold and the different story that we hold, and the more appreciation we've got of the finances that we've got, or the more appreciation of the house we've got, or the partner we've got, automatically starts changing how that is viewed by you and what is then opened to be a match for you. And then the more evidence you get, this is the magic, and that's why I call my business practical magic. The more evidence you get, the more you start trusting and believing in yourself that you are the only one who can change this. It doesn't mean, Jasmina, or Samantha, that somebody might not pop up into your vision and you kind of go, oh, they look like they would be the perfect person to help me with my social media. Again, this is the way Fiona works. Why am I seeing that? Why are you showing me that? The spirit of my business, my soul. the dragons, my guides. Why have I seen something like that twice today? You see, the internet is no more less spiritual than you are. You will be getting signs like you get number plates 777111, times on the clock, feathers. You know, the internet is no less spiritual for you. So you could say, why am I seeing this person? Do you want me to work with them? No. Oh, that's interesting. You want me to just understand what they're doing and how they're doing it? Yes. But you want me to do it in my way? Yes. Ah, okay. So let me just look at what they're doing, and then I'll see what it's always doing is it's raising you up. Like, this is how good you are. You're no lesser than anyone else. This is how good you are. And it's often not that you learn from someone else, but that new information is going to come through you. So the way I'm always teaching when I do my business readings, so if somebody says I need to go and learn something more about what it is that I do and what I bring into the world, what my passion is, I say, okay, fine. But ultimately, you incarnated on this earth at this time to be a pioneer, to be a leader. What you bring in, that you've already outgrown that. Okay, you're bringing in something specific. You're part of the jigsaw puzzle to help humanity evolve. I know this is big stuff. This is the way I play. This is the way I talk. Okay, so you are not allowed to play small. And if there's more training that you think you need to be more visible. What about if you just felt that every single post you put out there was absolutely perfect, absolutely fine? What if your video was just like it warmed somebody's heart and they just went, oh, that is exactly what I needed to see today. It doesn't need to be as polished as, I don't know, think of somebody who's out there. Reagan Hillier. It doesn't have to be as polished as, I can't think of anybody else's name that's appropriate. It doesn't have to be in their style. So people need my style, people need your style, but you've got to find your style. And there's something else that I want to go into next week as well. Like when you step into the identity, the version of the person that you need to be, you'll find that you start maybe dressing differently. You'll show up differently. You'll maybe have your hair cut in a different way. Something that happened to me and some of my clients as well is like their hair starts looking and they start wearing different kind of jewelry, or they dress differently and they take it more seriously about how they show up. They take care of themselves better because they realize that everybody that's looking at them is wanting their service, but then it wants to come from a more polished base. Does that make sense? But if your clients are very happy, to sort of see you in your bohemian stuff or your, whatever it is that you choose to wear, if that's your brand, then that's pretty cool. You send out energy with every single post that you do, every single video that you do, every single course that you do. Now, imagine you're writing a piece of content, you've got a post to put out there, you think, okay, are these words okay? Is this working all right? Does this say what I want to say? And you think, oh hell, I'll just put it out there anyway. How is that going to be received energetically? Because we're all energetic beings, right? And the more we go into this kind of work, being an entrepreneur, being a coach right now, you have to know the more energetic that people will receive you, because the next generation's more energetic, we're getting more energetic, we're expanding into a broadband. But then think about putting a post out there and go, people are lucky to be in my energy. People are going to get so much value from this. How do you think that's going to land when somebody reads that? They will pick up the energy. So before you do anything, getting yourself into your energy first thing in the morning, before you put a post out there, that's imperative. Like I used to come into my office and think, right, okay, what's on my list of things to do? But I'd never really take care of my energy. I'd never really get into like my power. I'd never really get into what would be the best thing to write today. What was the best thing that my audience could read from me today? And believing in the back of my head, this is going to land. People are really going to see this, and this is serving my community. Very different to like, oh, I've got to put a post out today. Oh, what shall I write? Just put something out there. Yeah, so it's coming from a different base. But if you're coming from a base where you already feel successful, so like what's the outcome? What's the outcome that you want ultimately? So you can put that in the chat as well. I noticed there's two more comments there. Jasmine, my content doesn't create new clients. So what do? Change your story. Sorry, Jasmine. It's so hard to get new clients. It's time consuming and energy draining. Brilliant story to reverse. Brilliant story to reverse. You get that now. But thank you very much for being so open and allowing yourself to see that. It's the gift. Not very many times will you get an opportunity for someone to ask you a question for you to be so fucking bloody honest with yourself. Okay, and most of the time we're in a fake it or make it, like, yeah, everything's fine. And then when somebody asks you, go, no, God, it's a bit shit, really. No, nothing's really moving, nothing's happening. But the more times you tell that true factual story, the harder it is. Got a fly wanting to say hello. The harder it is for anything to sort of match where you really want to go. Teresa, I speak slowly and use fillers. So when you say fillers, you mean tell stories, anecdotes? Jasmine, thinking of cutting my hair the last 3 weeks. Yes, me too. Look at this. I need to tidy up my look. I really do. I need to tidy it up. April, I love all this, and we love you, darling. Please enter some things into the comments so that we can turn your story around. Oh, you know what? Who cares? Who cares? You're being real. You're not standing there like a newscaster, and it will become easier and easier and easier the more passionate you get about things. All right. I did that for you. Don't know what to say. Okay, so here we go. This is funny. This is what's coming through right now. So I get more guidance when I'm talking out loud. And I imagine you guys do too. The more you talk out loud is 10 times more powerful. So sometimes you need to do these things to allow yourself to talk out loud, to hear what you're saying. Can't remember what I was going to say. Right. It'll come back. I totally and utterly trust that it will come back. Here we go. So if I'm with a client or if I'm talking about something and I lose my way, all right, which is quite normal because I'm like a free thinker and there's like explosions going off in my head all the time. I'll say, I've lost track. Where am I going? Please show me. Please help me out. I don't know where I am. Please show me. I don't know how to do this. Please show me how. I've said that so many times when I've been running my business. I don't know how to do this. Please show me how. My whole job is for you to bridge and be shown the gaps. Okay, like the dragons often have said to me, like, we highlight the gaps of where the human thinks it doesn't know. If I'm on with a client and they're so in their head, I keep saying, right, where do you feel that in your body? How's this working out for you? And they go, they come back into their head. I'm like, right, okay. And if this happens several times, I would have to say to their soul, to my soul, to source, help me out here, because I can't get them to win. I can't get them to where they need to be. I would have to say to them then, are you willing to play? Because I don't know where we're going to be taken, but we're going to be taken somewhere and it'll make complete and utter sense for what's going on with you. That's how much I trust source. That's how much I trust my business, the consciousness, my soul, because I've built up a relationship with them over the last however many years. But behind all of that, you really need to have a very strong essence of who you are. I asked you a question a minute ago and I said we could go into that. What was that question? So we did the question already. What do you think of yourself deep down? So we've kind of This is just the beginning. When we go in and find out what are some of those things that come out, I'm not very good at social media, don't need to know how to do that, don't know how to do Instagram, don't know how to do my finances, don't know how to do this, don't know how to do that. Then we have to break the belief. There's something in there often that there's a belief, there's a pattern that just keeps on running. And we need to be able to say, okay, soul, superconscious mind, tag and treat and do a massive change history on that. And that's something that I'm doing all the time. The dragons used to do, and they still do them when there's something really big. They do what they call an exorcism. In other words, they take out the belief, which is basically what we're doing with the other way as well. They take out the belief so that it doesn't exist in your physical cellular structure. Please don't think of this body as you being human. Oh God, this is really difficult for me to say, but they're asking me to say it. Don't think of this body as limited. When you know that you are a super conscious being, okay, you have to know that you are probably only 5 or 10% human. The rest of you is so frigging powerful that we still choose to operate from the human. Because everybody around us is operating as a human. Most of the people in my groups, when we get together, we're not operating as human. People are reading other people, we're interjecting, we're helping across distances when our pets go missing, all sorts of stuff. So please don't think of this body as the container of something that's your soul. All of this, every single cell, every single glitch, every single vibration, every single goosebump, every single oh God, my French is coming in. Why is that? Every single time you get hot, every single time you get cold, that is your body signaling to you. It is a massive communication tool. It is so highly technical, you have no idea. You can read so much from your body. And this is what I'm helping you to do, so understand what those messages are, also how you talk to your body, how you talk to your business, and how they are talking to you, and how either you see it in your environment, but then how you feel it in your body and you go, oh, that's what that is. Oh, I'm being told to tell you the story. Last year, I had to have an operation on my nose. I was not happy at all. I was furious. And when they had to start cutting into my nose and gouged out a great bit, and I was like so angry. But I did some healing on it. I tried to understand what the message was. And I really got down to the fact that I started to understand what the message was. It wasn't a punishment, and now I can see it as a gift. A few years before, I was working with a lady, very, very spiritual. And every time she's got me to say something or go somewhere, I'd kind of, she said, why do you keep touching your nose? I went, I don't know. Maybe it's itchy. Why do you keep touching? She's so fucking irritating. I went, well, yeah, I know, but I don't know what it is. Then about a few weeks later, you have to really focus sometimes when you hear something coming up, when you do something, when you eat something or you drink something or you do something repetitively and you think, why do I do that? You have to ask. So like, I remember I kept, something was going on and I kept touching my nose. And I went, oh, I get it. My nose, my touching my nose or the itch in my nose was my sign for yes, but. Source was coming through. They was asking me to trust it. And I was going, yeah, but. Okay. They're also saying to say, like, physical symptoms, the metaphysical parts of your body, the things that you have happen to you, be it sciatica, be it aches and pains, be it some operation you've got to have. They say like even cancers are growing because of the negative toxicity of what we are not changing. And the same goes for what's going on in our environment as well. If we keep saying, no more money's coming, no more clients coming, it's just so hard, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know why I'm doing that, guess what's going to happen? And it's really tough to live like this, I tell you, because you're being asked to operate in a different way. We can't blame anyone else. I couldn't blame my ex-partner for not having any money and supporting me. It was my lesson to learn from him giving me the gift. You can do it yourself. And I've had so many things happen with my body. I mean, I came up through detoxing and raw food and fasting and all that kind of stuff. So cleaning the pineal gland. But at some point, you just kind of go, I get it. It is a massive communication tool that we live in. Anyway, I digress. Or do I? Or do I? As a circular thinker, sometimes we go off on a tangent. So yes, your thoughts and feelings create the momentum. And the more often you think about something, the more density and the more form it creates in this physical world. Does that make sense? We know it, but we don't often see ourselves repeating the story. The more times we say so, a belief is only something that you've told yourself a gazillion times. What if you started telling yourself something that you're fucking amazing, that you're as rich as anything, and you're the most fantastic person that's ever been on this planet, and you're the richest woman you know, and you've got that many clients, you don't know what to do with them, you've got a waiting list. What if you started talking to yourself like you were just the boss, like amazing? Nicer. And if anybody doesn't understand this or doesn't believe me, and maybe you've got in the back of your head thinking, yeah, but Fiona, I can't do that until I get the evidence. Does anybody think that? Put that in the comments. Does anybody think that? I want the evidence before I can trust it. And I'm going to prove to you something different. Yes. Yes, you believe me, or yes, you don't believe me. Oh, yes, prove it to me, Fiona. Yes, I want the evidence. If you knew the story that you were telling now, would you see how that's showing up in your life right now? Think of one of the stories that you're telling and step into that for a minute. And let me show you where you feel it. Think of one of the stories that you're telling. So, for example, you can put it down in the below. If it's I need to know more, or I don't know how to deal with my finances, just tell me what it is that you're thinking. What is the story that you're telling? Maybe that you've been telling for a little while. Funny, isn't it, how she's avoiding me now? Come back, Teresa. I know you want the evidence, and then you rolled off. I never have enough money. Feel that in your body right now, and I'll show you where you feel it. That's all right. Don't worry, I'm only teasing you. So feel that story that you often repeat to yourself. I never have enough money. Feel where you feel that in your body. Back neck across the shoulders. Where do you feel it in your anywhere else? Do you feel it anywhere else in your body? Lower back. Well, I can understand the lower back because that's basically the the vertebrae for finances. Do you have a problem with your lower back? Yeah, of course. Where else do you feel it in your body? I never have enough money. I never have enough money. I never have enough money. The easiest thing to tune in with is your breathing. Where's your breathing? Stomach. Feels a bit gnarly, your stomach. And where's your breathing? What I'm getting is like very, very, very little breath going in. I'm practically suffocating. All right. I want you to know what you're doing to your body when you think that thought. Because if you feel it, by God, you're going to change it. Anyone else can do the same thing. You can use the same sentence. I don't have enough coming. There's not enough money coming. I won't get any more after this. This is my last lot. This is it. Feel it and feel it in your stomach. Your stomach just feels, oh, God, it's like carrying a boulder around. It's like it's heavy. There's hardly any breath. And I absolutely guarantee that most of you will be feeling in exactly the same places. Now, when I feel into someone, I feel that on a particular reason so that I can show you how you're affecting your body and how that will affect your body long term. It will create form on your body as well as in your environment, in your circumstances when you tell that story. So what would be better to do then? Stomach pressure on my chest, yeah. How's your breathing, Jasmina? The pressure on your chest, presumably, got my teeth in, means that you can hardly breathe. April, Samantha, you can play this game too. Yeah, so Teresa, tell a different story. So, for example, what story would you tell? Now, this is sometimes when it gets a little bit, I don't really know, Fiona. I've never practiced telling a new story. What would you like to say? What would you like to tell your next door neighbor? What would you like to tell your ex-husband, your children, your partner? Like, my God, I'm the richest woman I know. I've got lots of money. Let's be more specific. Okay, Jasmine, come out of that before you suffocate. Don't suffocate on my watch. All right, I have lots of money. I have more money than I can deal with. There's so much coming in. I don't know what to do with it. I've bought everything. I've paid all my bills. I'm a multi-millionaire. I've got 80. Wow, you think big. I like that. I've got 80 million. You also need to know what you're going to do with the money when you've got it so that you can embody the feeling of it. If you knew what it felt like to be a millionaire, I beg your pardon, a multi-millionaire, you'd have it already, wouldn't you? So clearly, the dragons are showing us there's a gap. So what we need to be able to do is bridge that gap. Some people can go choing, and some people need to go yup, 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 yup. So we need to think of a figure or an amount that your soul is happy playing with, so that we can move into being a millionaire. And sometimes using a millionaire, I mean, some people think it's a little bit trite or think it's a little bit uncomfortable. That's fine, but that's your own resistance. That's your human brain going, oh God, if I have more money than other people, then they won't be my friends, or they won't like me, or I'll have to buy them everything and I'll have to take care. There's so many different stories going on. But if you could imagine, if you were a multimillionaire, for example, and you can imagine it, you can imagine what kind of sheets you wake up in the morning. You can imagine what the view is out your window. You can imagine what your slippers like, or the floors like, or what somebody cleaning your house for you, or chauffeuring you somewhere. Like, it's a completely different version of you. Sometimes some people want to experiment. I know I do. Sometimes you want to experiment. What does it feel like to live that life? So maybe you'd go and hang out in a hotel for a while. Maybe you'd hang out into some designer stores if that's your thing. Okay, you've been around a lot of rich people as a child and young adult. So for some reason, somewhere in your head, you just kind of go, not for me. And that's okay. It's just a resistance that we need to get, a belief that we need to get to the bottom of, so that we can actually just start clearing that out of the way. I'm working with a client. I've been working with her for a year. I'd say that we do 2 or 3 massive clear outs every single week. And you'd think, I didn't even know I thought that. I didn't even know that I believed that. And when you know that when you've hit the nail on the head, because most of my clients know this, but when I'm talking to them and we're clearing and we're shifting energy, we're burping. If Jasmine, you've seen me on these calls before, I've been burping when I've shifted energy. We're yawning. So like, when you've shifted the energy, it's like massive, massive yawn. Or you're farting. You need a massive pee or a massive poo. You're shifting energy. You know that you've shifted it because something's releasing. There's sweating, there's hot, there's cold. Your body is showing you that something is shifting out of your way. That's when you physically shifted it, as well as just, oh yeah, okay, well that's a belief of mine. Well, I don't want to believe that anymore. Okay, we'll work on it then. Get rid of it. Okay, we'll do the exorcism on it. We don't want that. We don't want that in our body. So you see, there's a lot, when we're talking about creating our new reality, it's telling the story, allowing the beliefs to come up. So when I'm talking to you and I'm saying, I'm the best that there is, everybody wants a piece of my products. Everybody wants to buy a product. I've got a huge waiting list for it. I'm waking up and I've got so many people wanting to buy from me. But if Fiona doesn't believe it, I have to work out what that belief is. We can do a generic clearing. Jasmine is yawning already. We can do a generic clearing on it. We can ask superconscious to go in and sort of do a massive change history on it. But sometimes, your soul will say, I'll say, do we need to know what the actual original belief was? No, we don't. So we can just click, yes, we can. And sometimes we need to have an awareness and a consciousness of what that belief is. So that, because part of our job sometimes is helping other people to clear that. Does that make sense? Most of us, when we're doing our work, it's like, excuse me, it's because when we clear something, when we go through something, we can then help evolve the next person. We can help elevate the next person. We can help them connect in with their soul. We can help them work and operate in a completely different way. So you're beginning to see then that creating your new reality is not just about raising your vibe, turning on the Beach Boys music, or, just being happy. Just, we can put plasters over things for such a long time. We can just, I'm happy, I'm shopping, I'm with my family, I'm, imagining this, I'm doing my meditations, but is it, we need to know that it's genuine, because otherwise your human, like Fiona, will have something in the back of her mind just going, well, that's great, but that's never going to work. Unless we catch it. And it's your job as the conscious human, not the human, the conscious human with your soul intact, to even ask and just say, please show me what's coming up. Show me what it is that I need to clear. And then be very aware of all the things that are coming up for you. So creating your new reality means clearing out, stepping in, telling a new story, operating in a different way that you haven't operated before. And actually, even if people around you don't think like that, you do. And you're going to keep thinking like that. We talked about evidence earlier on. I've just got a very quick story that I'm being asked to tell you. So if you've been on with me before, you might have heard this story before. But so the guy I was telling you about earlier on, so when we separated and he wasn't able to support the kids, axes and darts and all the rest of it going in his direction, toxic thoughts. I needed to sell the house. So we had this house together and I needed to sell the house. So I put it on with an agent. Nothing happened. But I was in communication with the house and I was saying, okay, what needs to be done? Okay, you need the stairs changed, you need the shutters painted, you need this done. And then there came to a point, I was just like, please show me how to sell you. Please show me how to find you the best buyer, someone who's going to love this house as much as we loved you. We'd been separated for 2 years, but we still had the house. We were still kind of, he came back maybe at some weekends, looked after the kids and things. So, we were still cohabiting in each other's circumference. And it was not easy until I decided, that's it. I'm selling the house. And I started to visualize the house is sold. I started visualizing the house was empty. Even though all the furniture and all the cupboards were still full, the house is empty. I found the perfect buyer. People are moving in and they love this house as much as we do. And one day I was in the garden and I got this image in my head of a white sign with a stake. My telephone number, my mobile number was written on there, and all it was at the top was AV, which in France is à vendre, so like for sale. And I started arguing. I said, nobody drives up this road. What a ridiculous idea. Nobody's going to find my house like with a sign outside my front gate. Silence. All there is up the road is a farm. Hardly anybody drives up this road. This is like silence. It's like, okay, I'll do it then. So I spent the afternoon in the garage, found a piece of wood, painted it white, dried, got the stencils, Avandra, wrote my telephone number, girly hammered it with a nail, hammered it into the garden on the outside. And I thought, there, see, done it. Okay, done it now. Are you happy? Like, let's just see if that works, shall we? It would be nice, but like, let's just see. Thank you for the guidance, but okay. 2 days later, somebody had been driving up the road to look at another house that was for sale. It was a holiday home. They drove past and they rang the telephone number and they said, can we come and see your house? And I went, what, now? And they went, yeah, we're driving to Paris this afternoon. I went, oh, we're flying to Paris this afternoon. I was like, oh God, give me 5 minutes. Go and tidy the house up. They came in, they walked around with me and I said, look, help yourself. I'm going to make a cup of tea. I'll meet you here when you're finished on this table. They walked around again and they were talking away and they're walking around the garden. We had a cup of tea and they offered me exactly the right price that I wanted. Within 3 days of me putting that sign outside the gate. After 2 years of being with an agent. I think that length of time was also for my ex and I to kind of find an equilibrium. It wasn't quite so hateful after a while. So you can see why some things take longer than others, but within 3 days of me getting that sign, I was able to sell the house for exactly what the house was worth, what we wanted to sell it for. And every single year after that, when they come and they go to the local supermarket, I used to see the lady and she'd give me such a hug and she'd say, I love your house. I said, well, clearly it's not my house anymore. It is your house. But you can see I also got the person in the house who absolutely loved and cherished the house. I created that because I decided I would sell the house for that price. I would have these kind of people living in the house. And I asked for guidance on how to sell the house. And that's not the first time or the last time I get guidance. If you've heard about me before, you know about the dragon cards, you know about the artist for the dragon cards, you know about changing the relationship with my ex, you know about changing the relationship with my boy, you know about finding a lost credit card, you know about finding lost scooter keys, because that's the way we do it. That's the way we roll. Anyway, Been on an hour, don't want to keep you any longer. I hope this has been fun for you. I hope you're now thinking a little bit more about some of the stories that you could be telling. I will do part 2 next week because I think it's such a juicy subject when it comes to your business and how you talk about yourself and how you talk about your business and how you talk about your money. If you were going to move into your new identity, that is maybe what I'm going to be talking about next week as well, to do with your identity in your business. Who are you? April, thank you so much for being here. It was really, really lovely to meet you. Hopefully you can come next week as well. But these are in the guided section in the group Practical Magic. Thank you for playing and taking part. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to help you have little experiences so that you can feel, like Teresa did, feel what's going on inside her body. And that's what I want to do with you next week as well. So like if we're talking about you being a millionaire, or if we're talking about you being the queen of your empire, you will feel different. You will walk differently. You will talk differently. I was speaking to my son this week. We were walking away from, he'd just had an osteopath appointment. I said, now, just imagine as we're walking down this street, we've sold the house and we've moved into our new house and we've unpacked a few things, but we've just gone shopping. I said, how do you feel? And he went, oh, God. He said, Mummy said, that's so easy. And I noticed, I said, you're even walking differently. He said, I am. And this is what I teach my kids as well, because, you know, they've created, they're like 19 and 20 now, but they started creating and imagining themselves walking into the university or walking into the job or walking into the situation or feeling into their friends and why was this person acting like this. So we have to be using the spiritual side. We have to be using the sensitivities, the fact that we think differently outside the box, we think in a circle, why that is so important. So next week, April, good. This has helped me so much. I already feel different. Awesome. So April, we need to talk about your business. We need to find out why you keep stopping and starting. And if it's a passion for you, let's get you really, really passionate about it. I do business readings, by the way, as well, which is basically the vision that Source has for you. In other words, the reading that I do kind of opens the doors to show you who you are, remind you who you are and what you do and why you're here. So, of course, it's amazing. My son says to me, love you, Mum. I said, I know, I'm so lovable. Well, you have to own it. You have to own the cheeky side. You have to own you're the richest woman you know. You have to own that you're bloody good at your business. You have to own it because no one else can do it for you. Anyway, hope this has been fun. It's been fun for me. I didn't follow my notes at all, actually. It just free-libbed. So hopefully that was fun. And I will see you hopefully next week. I will see you in the group. I'm always there posting little things. Please pick your card for next week. The messages that come through, they grow with you. There's something, I wouldn't say extraordinary, but they are infused. So like every single time you hear a message, you'll get an awakening, you'll get an activation, you'll kind of go, oh, it's like an aha moment. It's like, oh, right, that's what I'm doing. And that's what I need to do. And these cards are all about changing your story, setting your day up, getting into the energy. That's what the dragons are there for. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I will be having an event later on in the month as well, really doing some clearings on beliefs and really helping you step into your power, because this is all about stepping into and empowering yourself. Anyway, I'm going to go now. So have a lovely evening. Arrivederci.